Hi, students. Let's get started with the subject EVS, Our Wondrous World, Chapter 1, Water, the Essence of Life. It is raining. Afreen rushed to the window where Jyoti was already watching tiny raindrops slide down the glass. Where do you think all this water comes from, and where does it go? Asked Afreen. Come, let us follow the journey of water. But first, let us see how much water there is on Earth. Although most of the Earth's surface is covered with water, the majority of it is salty, leaving less amount of fresh water. All living beings, people, animals, birds, and plants depend on fresh water to survive. It is essential for drinking, growing crops, and carrying out daily activities. Many plants and animals also live in fresh water. Without water, life would not be possible. Now, imagine if all the water on Earth were in this glass, then the fresh water would only be as much as in a teaspoon. Jyoti was curious, is there water in the air too? And is snow a form of water? Water has different forms. We already know the different forms of water: liquid, as in rain, solid, as in ice, and vapor, as in steam. Let us understand more about this through a simple activity. Water cycle. Let us understand how such changes take place in nature. As you have seen in the above activity, the sun's heat causes the water to turn into water vapor. When the water vapor cools, it forms small droplets inside the bag. Eventually, these droplets fall back down. Similarly, in nature, heat causes water from different sources, like oceans and rivers, to become water vapor. Water vapor forms the clouds, which come down as rain, snow, and hail. This water goes back into rivers, lakes, and oceans. This constant circular movement of water in nature is called the water cycle. Groundwater. Let us find out what happens to rainwater when it comes down. When it rains, some water is soaked up by the soil. This water sinks through the layers of soil and rocks. The water that gets stored deep underground is called groundwater. We dig wells, bore wells, tube wells, and hand pumps to draw this water from the ground for our use. In cities with many cemented surfaces, rainwater cannot go into the ground easily, which stops groundwater from getting recharged. Surface water, rivers, ponds, lakes, etc., are the natural sources of fresh water in addition to groundwater. Do you ever wonder how a river flows? A river often begins its journey from up in the mountains and flows down across the land. Let us understand this through an activity. Ice cap, mountains, glacier, waterfall, river, valley, lake, dune, desert. Our lifeline, rivers in India. This map of India shows some of the major rivers of our country. Life in water. Afreen noticed that the rain had filled up the pond near the school ground. She called out to Jyoti, "Come and look." They could see tiny fish swimming and a small frog sitting on a lotus leaf. It is wonderful to see the variety of plants and animals living in water. How are they different from those living on land? Complete the following table discussing with peers about the characteristics of animals on land and animals in water. The waxy coating on leaves make them waterproof and keeps too much water from getting inside the plant. This helps the plant stay healthy and not get damaged. Types of plants in water. Through this activity, we discovered the rich variety of plants and animals that live in freshwater habitats. These living beings have special features like floating leaves, fins, or long roots that help them survive and grow in water. This reminds us how essential freshwater is for supporting life on Earth. In this chapter, we learned that water exists in different forms: ice, water, and vapor. We saw how water keeps moving through the water cycle, changing its form as it travels through the air, land, and sky. We also explored how aquatic plants and animals live in and around water and depend on water for their survival. Information card 1. Dragonfly flies fast and lays eggs near water, eats mosquitoes. 2. Water scorpion insect with pincers, lives underwater, breathes using a tail tube. 3. Pond heron, a bird with long legs that stands still to catch fish. 4. Freshwater turtle, a soft-shelled turtle that lives in ponds and rivers. 5. Water snake, a harmless water snake that eats fish and frogs. 6. Reeds, edge plants, grow along the edges of ponds, tall and grass-like. 7. Lotus and water lily, rooted floating, flowers float on water, roots stay in the pond bed. 8. Water hyacinth, free-floating, a fast-growing plant that floats and spreads on water. Do you know? The salt pans of Gujarat are vast flatlands where seawater is dried to collect salt. It is one of the largest salt-producing areas in India. Do you know? Open, uncovered areas allow water to seep into the ground. Soak pits, ponds, human-made lakes, and planting more trees help rainwater return underground. Do you know? The Luni River, originating in the Aravalli Range in Rajasthan, is the only major Indian river that does not drain into a sea. Instead, it ends up in the marshy lands of the Run of Kutch in Gujarat. Activity 1. Where can we find fresh water? Identify the different freshwater sources from the images given below and write their names. Activity 2. Take a steel glass. Put some ice cubes in it. Observe the small water droplets forming on the glass. A. Where do these water droplets come from? B. What happens to the ice cubes after they are left in the glass for some time? C. If we heat water, what will happen to it? Activity 3. 1 point. Take a transparent bag. 2 point. Use a marker to draw the sun, clouds, trees and arrows on it as shown in the picture. 3 point. Fill 1/3 of it with colored water. Tip. You can use blue paint or food dye for this. 4 point. Seal the bag tightly to prevent any leaks. 5 point. Place it in the sunlight. After a few hours, observe the changes inside the bag. Activity 4. 1 point. Take a transparent glass. 2 point. Fill half of it with soil. 3 point. Slowly pour water into the soil using a spoon. 4 point. Observe what happens. Activity 6. Material required: an old newspaper and a cup of mustard seeds or any other small seeds. Procedure 1 point. Take a sheet from a newspaper and crumple it to create folds. 2 point. Take another sheet and place it over the crumpled paper. Activity 7. Follow the flow. In the map, you can see the rivers flowing in different directions. Some flow into the Bay of Bengal and some into the Arabian Sea. Activity 8. Visit a local water body like a pond, lake or an aquarium with your teacher or parents and observe life in and around the water body. Activity 9. 1. Take a piece of paper and put a drop of water on it. Observe. 2. Color the paper with a wax crayon. Now, put a drop of water on it. Do you observe any change? 3 point. Press it down so that the slopes are gentle. 4 point. Now, slowly pour the mustard seeds from the cup onto the highest point of the slope. 5 point. Observe the movement of the seeds. Activity 10. Who eats whom? A river food chain game 1. Distribute slips of paper to students. Each student writes what they choose to be. For example, small fish, big fish, frog, bird, human, crocodile, otter, etc. 2. Ask the students to think about what they eat and who eats them. 3. Use a string to connect the students who depend on each other for food. 4. Discuss what would happen if one animal disappears. For example, what if all the fish are gone?